Hey everyone. Today I want to talk about something that was pretty interesting and unique I found over the past couple days here. Of course, I was browsing my articles as per usual, and I found something that was pretty unique where researchers at a university in Tokyo were able to produce images via Wi-Fi signals, while also having AI model called latency as I helped them pretty much paint those images as clear as they possibly could. Now, keep in mind, there's been been an ability for a while, excuse me, to use Wi-Fi to sort of track and map out things, right? Basically, Wi-Fi, it's been known that's been done. That's not a new phenomenon. I'm not trying to claim that here. But this is kind of taking it to the next step. Now, as you're all aware, or if you don't know, Wi-Fi is essentially like radio waves, right? They kind of, they go through the walls in your home. They funnel out basically at the way I kind of learned it was your access point and or your router kind of acts you the signal is like an umbrella. You kind of go, it goes up and out. They always say to kind of place your Wi-Fi access point and or your, if you're using like a router from your ISP at the highest point of your home. Now that's pretty interesting to me because from that aspect the Wi-Fi is kind of as you would want it, right? It goes through your whole home. Wow. Now, in this instance, researchers at the University of Institute of Science of Tokyo were able to take the tracking aspect to the next step and incorporate an AI model called latency CSI, which leverages Stable Diffusion 3 to turn it into basically generate images based on the input. Now, it's pretty cool, like from a research perspective, right? Basically, it's pretty cool that you could map it out, and it's a really cool phenomenon. But kind of the thing that gets me as we look at the results here is, the results, I mean, they're not like crystal clear, 1920 by 1080p images, right? It's not something that's gonna be, oh, like, man, I can really map out this whole guy's house, right? It's really more of kind of like a conceptual thing at this point, but as you can see in some of the results here, there's some pretty clear distinctions, right? It can obviously tell that there's a room, right? There's a floor, there's a person. Obviously, the basic things in some of these, right? There's a door, exit sign, stuff like that. So it works, from a general standpoint. And it's pretty interesting, but it'll be kind of nerve-wracking down the line if, either like the feds or police in general or if threat actors we're able to get a hold of this technology and use it against people. It could be, pretty scary, right? If someone is able to kind of map out like what you're doing and generate an image. Now I know that kind of is like science fiction sounding, but it would be kind of scary if it could happen. And I know, from taking a look at AI models over the past couple of years, right? The one thing that comes to mind when thinking about this is when they first released the AI video of Will Smith eating like spaghetti, and it used to look really crappy, kind of looked fake, but now with OpenAI's, Sora 2 model, right? Those videos are looking very realistic. Now, if that kind of technology got applied in this way, it would kind of be the same thing, right? Kind of starting out rough like this, and, down the line, next year it gets a little better, but the year after that is even better, right? So kind of thinking from that standpoint, it's kind of scary. This could be used nefariously if trained right, and if enough people, I guess, I won't say bought into it, but kind of got together and tried really hard to do it. But the thing in this instance, and I didn't figure this out till I got more down into the article, is that basically the AI model was pre-trained on the actual photos of the room, so it basically kind of knew what was already there. So basically, the AI model knew. So it's essentially not that effective. I mean, it still is a very cool concept, right? That those photos could be a result, but it was a very highly specific, excuse me, use case. AI, did a lot of the heavy lifting, kind of like they said. Well, the Wi-Fi part, kind of just added a little bit of the details, but just thinking, right? Maybe if you're able to, somehow upload the photos ahead of time or some other way, maybe this could be used, or maybe down the line, there'll just be a better way of doing it. As I know I've seen in some demonstrations, like with ethical hacking things, you can keep track of like people that are standing up or sitting down in a room via Wi-Fi or something like that. So maybe they'll use that aspect. I'm not sure. But basically, it's not going to be like at this point they can kind of like they say here, send an a snapshot of your router data and have it run to your room. But essentially, things are getting more interesting. There is, I know I saw a thing a little while ago on Xfinity basically here how they can kind of motion detect you, which is pretty cool, or not pretty cool, pretty pretty alarming. You shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, it's unique that I can do that, but it's not something I would want. But essentially, that's what I want to talk about today. Kind of going over some of these interesting Wi-Fi things here, and basically it's things are going to get interesting. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, right now it's kind of more up in the air, but yeah, again, pretty interesting concept. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.